longer than usual. There it goes.
How will we colonize our solar system? Where do we get the resources to expand and reach and achieve all that we can within the realm of our own precious star? Where will we live besides Earth? And how far might humans diverge over the course of generations? Will SJWs think that spaceborne humans are all xenophobes? This is the place where those ideas and so many more get broken down, brainstormed, expanded on, and compiled. This is the place where no idea is a bad idea except the bad ideas and no ideas. Because the more ideas you hear, the more likely you are to hear a good one. Anyway, I'm Dolphin Radio. I'm the host of the BrainTrust, and joining me tonight to discuss space colonization within our own solar system are Egglord the Nosferatu. Say hi. Hi, Egglord.
Yeah, hi. Sorry.
We've got Chairview.
How you doing?
Placeholder.
Good evening.
Cassie, the ragdoll. Hey. And we're here every Wednesday night at 11 p.m. as the BrainTrust. Guys, welcome to the show. Let's talk about space colonization. So, what do you think about the SJWs? You think they're going to think we're all xenophobes because we leave?
By the way, there was a video game about colonizing space called Xenophobe. So,
well,
I don't think so because they'll call us colonizers, not xenophobes.
1987 Xenophobe. It was called.
You're oppressing the proto-bacteria on Mars.
Just wait.
We're oppressing the native landscape. We're destroying its natural beauty by stealing the resources and taking them back to Earth. There's no way we could possibly make this an equitable exchange. Therefore, we're stealing.
Eventually, we'll just turn into the Imperium of Man anyway. So yeah, we will be xenophobes.
Well, I'm also thinking about the idea of terraforming. See, I think that, and it's just a theory, but I think that if you can figure out how to manufacture a large enough magnetosphere or electromagnetic field, you could colonize Mars pretty effectively.
You know, the way you're talking about it,
that'd be easy.
And actually the most logical way to do it would be
to use the planet as an electromagnet?
Well, yeah, but it would be...
what we would wind up having to do is create a localized, magnetosphere. It wouldn't be the whole planet. We don't have the ability to do that without boring into the planet.
Mars, the resources to get there in the first place, we would have to have a group like, I don't know, Weyland-Yutani. And
that's a good point. No, go into that a little bit more, Chair. Back up.
That's what I'm worried about. I'm worried about... Well, it would probably be run by Elon Musk or some shit. And
like his life pod.
Look, all we have to tell him is that there's a kid trapped on the moon. We need to build a base.
Well, okay. They already have the proposed ways which they claim they're going to start with the space tourism. What the plan was for Mars initially, isn't it to send those inflatable habitats up there? Isn't that what they're planning to do initially?
I think I have heard about that. That's one of the proposals, but it's not scalable easily in such a way as we can have an actual environment. It'd be like a moon base. Basically, you wouldn't be able to go outside.
Yeah, I know. That's the only problem with it currently.
Yeah, I'm thinking a pressurized dome is going to be necessary on Mars.
We'll get Stephen King on it.
But that's where terraforming would come in and stuff. You would go to the planet in advance and make it so that it would generate oxygen and then eventually go back there, right? But then again, you could do like Interstellar and discover a wormhole and end up going to these other...
No. We're talking about intersolar colonization. We're talking about expanding beyond our rock.
Well, currently, how many planets have they discovered in our solar system that we could maybe survive on?
I'm thinking we could probably build a moon base. And I'm thinking that with a human-wide effort and massive engineering efforts, we could probably terraform Mars in 300 years.
That type of cooperation you're asking for isn't available in the world right now.
I don't know. I think it would be. I think it would be to have a completely second planet. I mean, the value
with no domes.
No domes. Fully
and a proper full atmosphere with the magnetosphere in 300 years,
and a potential set of oceans. No, I'm dead serious.
So, like,
I've really put
that's not enough
years of
time.
thought and
There's not enough
discussion with people
water.
in this. No. I get
No,
what you're
there's
saying.
not enough time, and we wouldn't be able to thaw it out fast enough. We wouldn't be able to clean it and filter it and create, put like nutrients into the soil fast enough in order to meet that goal.
I don't
Because
know.
it would have to overcome the harsh environment, which it currently can't do.
I don't know. I think that we could. You want to hear my proposal?
Sure.
I'm serious.
Lasers?
No. We start by mining.
That would produce oxygen.
We start by mining the asteroid belt. Okay, and this is kind of important because this funds the whole operation, and it gives us what we desperately need is mass to drop on the Martian moon. Because one of the major issues with Mars is it doesn't have a stable axis. That's because its moon isn't really big enough to hold it in a stable axis. So as we mine, we drop our slag on the Martian moon, increase its mass, and maybe redirect it to help pull the Mars into a better stable orbit. So you're talking about maybe 50 to 150 to maybe 300 years worth of mining operations to get that completely done.
Right, but that doesn't... I get that the atmosphere will become easier to create. But it's not a problem of creating a stable atmosphere. It kind of is, but it's a problem of getting the planet to generate the atmosphere.
No, I get that. But the issue is we don't need water from Mars. We can get water from the same place that our planet got water, which is if we start getting good enough at capturing asteroids, then we should be able to devise a way to capture comets. Because if you think about it, asteroids are moving at pretty fast speeds as well. The only difference between an asteroid and a comet is comets are made of ice, and that's why they have that wonderful tail, so you can see them moving a little bit better.
Mm-hmm.
There'll also be, I believe, an issue with colonizing Mars because the soil is basically toxic with iron.
Yeah.
Mhm.
No. That's helpful though. That's
potatoes. We will grow potatoes. All right.
No, it's really helpful because then we have all the iron we need to help drill a core through the planet and turn it into a giant electromagnet. It's a dead planet. We're not going to hit any lava.
Well,
right.
It's geologically dead.
That's the problem.
What? We're going to what?
We're going to generate lava.
Oh, no, I don't think we could drill at that speed.
And no capitalist is going to go for that. They want that shit back. Like it's on rent.
well,
I don't know. Once you ship it to Mars, you've pretty much broken your lease. I mean, think about it.
It depends on how much of a risk you're willing to take.
Well, according to scientists, the Martian is some of the more realistic stuff as far as growing food on Mars. So I don't know.
No, I think that you could shave down a comet over Mars if you could catch one, and that you could use the mining slag from mining the asteroid belt to build up the moon, stabilize the orbit, and meanwhile, geoengineer a giant electric magnet into the core of the planet using its own iron.
You know the cool thing about asteroids with water and comets with water? Well,
what's that?
Comets. They have amino acids, so we can use those to create new.
See, I didn't even know that.
We could create new life with them. Yeah.
Well, no, we could create fertilizer.
Even better.
Yeah, I had no idea.
But I kind of worry that if you have the mining of asteroids going on, you might end up with a world like the fucking Expanse, where it's like everybody hates the guys who are stuck mining on the moons and stuff.
Well, I mean, they get paid very well, I'm sure, and they're not totally what we do with our prison population, because that would be unethical.
Yeah, but in the show,
I don't know. See, and here's where Tim
guys
needs to be listening, because Friday night is the debate show, and that's a great question. Would it really actually be unethical to put lifers in mining camps in the asteroid belt?
Mm-hmm.
It would literally be a death sentence.
Okay, well, on that show, the groups are called the Belters, and they're the ones that are on the asteroids mining and everything. But they have their own, broken down, barely English language. And it's it seems so primitive the way they talk and everything, and it's just really weird and but yeah, there's all these big fights and stuff, and basically organized crime ends up running all the asteroid belts and shit.
Ugh, make fire.
Right, but here's the
No
difference.
one make fire.
Sterilize all of them as they go and
Mm.
make it so they can't sustain their own population. They become dependent on us, and we maintain control of the asteroid belt.
Well, it'd be dependent on. I don't envision an asteroid mining operation that actually takes place in the asteroid belt so much as one that captures asteroids and tows them back.
Mm.
And I think a base of operations. Yeah, I think
well, we can have processing stations set up throughout the solar system, all within orbit of, I don't know, maybe like a few 100 million miles. That wouldn't be too far, really.
Here's the thing you gotta think of though: if you go to another planet and you make it so it's livable and stuff, once you go there, the conditions will be so different that people will begin to evolve differently on each planet.
Yeah, we'll create a new race of human potentially. Or
yeah, but then those people, if they ever tried to go back to Earth, they wouldn't be able to because they wouldn't be able to breathe the same atmosphere.
Right. That's why you like have decompression chambers and you have like sterilization suits, and then you
even Stranger in a Strange Land talked about the main character getting depressurized and basically living in a pool of water for several weeks before he actually was able to walk around.
Yeah, it'd be fun watching them like fall on their face when they stand on land that's not like gravitational because of its rotation.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
It's like it goes to take a step and boom, right on your face. Yeah, that's called natural gravity, asshole. Now, if you made fun of the people who went out into space, would you be a xenophobe?
Well, no, I would just be a dick. But I don't want them back, so I would be a xenophobe if they're all criminals.
I think we would invent a new word for it, probably.
But let's face it. Asteroid miners would become the new backwater inbred hicks.
Well, yeah, that's what I say about that show. That's what happened on the show. They're all like,
I can see them. I can see them like brewing their own, or like what is it, distilling their own liquor that they clean the engine with and shit.
They make it on the moon and they just call it Shine there.
Like the higher up guys on the moon had this city that like where all the rich people live, and it had like
all they get is
green
potatoes.
grass, right?
All they get is Cherub's potatoes from Mars.
Well, they noticed that part of the green grass they had, this big patch of green grass started to go brown and stuff, so they learned that people were stealing the water because the government and all the rich people decided to keep all the clean water for themselves. So
peaches would grow really well in that iron-rich soil as well.
Yeah.
What was that?
You would get bored.
It would take so many generations of plants in order to make that soil like not produce toxic plants.
Raspberries and hemp would also do very well.
It would take like Placeholder said, it would take generations or at least some form of.
We would have to condition the soil.
Oh yeah,
iron. It's all lethal.
That's why I'm saying this is
silica and high in. Like,
we wouldn't even really be able to step out onto the soil
when you really
protective wear because it would poison us just to like get cut on it.
Get like silicanosis. Yeah, well, because like it's got a really long title, but it's like volcanosilicanosis. I think is a little bit more of the name of it, where you just inhale glass and your lungs turn into cancer, and you just die.
It'd be hilarious seeing like humans from Mars 500 or 600 years like come to visit Earth and then leave, and Earth's population dwindles down to like 50 people who don't die from that. And they like somehow got intertwined with some human bacteria and then infected the human race back on Earth.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have to repopulate Earth with Martians.
Yep. Wait. We already might be Martians, so I mean it'd be fitting.
So a viral hemochromatosis, maybe.
Yeah, that'd be crazy if we were like the second geologic, or if we were talking about the second geoengineering project like this. The first one was actually Mars. And they had this big volcano erupt, everything died, and they were like, shit, we gotta get off.
Yeah, no, I think that it's all a possibility, but I think it's hard though, because the way I see that we've all fucked up this world, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't think that we fucked up this world. I think that we fucked up the atmosphere for ourselves. We made it great for plants, and we've pretty much screwed over all the animals.
Yeah, but the way our population is going right now, we have to start colonizing elsewhere.
Well, no, that's not necessarily true. It depends on how fast we're able to colonize. Because when we hit a population level, maybe 9.5 billion people, will stop having kids for a while, and then the population will dwindle rapidly, and that'll cause us its own economic problems, forcing us to like move a little bit faster. We're gonna have to see a huge depopulation before the world unifies in order to like go to space.
So we got like what, 15 years?
Maybe.
I don't know. I'd have to look that up. That's actually, I never thought about that. I just thought about the population itself.
I mean, we're at 8 billion now, so
yeah.
And honestly, I think that we could
7.5.
No,
we could probably sustain a great deal more than we think we could if we actually would develop technologies to do so.
There's actually models
farming. Modular farming is amazing, and we can do that on Mars.
Yeah, modular farming. I mean, even if we did that here on Earth, we could do it in some of the worst places in the world for any kind of farming and still produce huge amounts of food.
Oh yeah, you would just have to make sure the population doesn't try to destroy it.
Oh, I wasn't talking about like I'm not talking about building modular farms in Mozambique, dude. Don't get me wrong.
No, I know, but that's something you have to keep them and keep up with it, and they'll die.
No, I'm just thinking about inhospitable areas, like you go out to Nevada, you have a lot of desert.
Yeah, that's true.
Plenty of solar power to keep the whole thing running.
Yeah. That is what it comes down to, is power sources too, right? So.
Yeah, but I mean, see, if you really think about it, if you think about it from a large-scale solar system-wide project, 300 years to get a planet livable doesn't really seem that crazy. It just relies on two technologies being developed, and really it's the ability to capture rock floating in space at high speeds, and the other would be the ability to develop electromagnetic fields that could, protect a ship and protect a planet. You definitely need them for the ships.
I think at first we'll end up having these really heavy, like bulky ships that sorry, I just saw something funny. I should stop being distracted. That are able to withstand a certain amount of inertia and impacts. So it'll be like several meters thick hulls, because we're only dealing with small stuff right now. So, like stray like bits of ice, a little bit of chunks of floating shit here. Occasionally an asteroid that comes through the inner belt in such a way that it would bother us through our travels throughout the cosmos. But then we would eventually discover like stronger metals, or because we would begin harvesting, like it would have to be on comet and on asteroid farming at first, with processing stations very close until we got enough of that material back that we could develop stronger engines. And that's why things like what Elon Musk is doing is really cool. And the way there's also this huge engine that's about to be tested that's bigger than the Saturn 10, which is Elon Musk's new one.
I think it'd be useful to start developing more methane fueled rockets for interstellar, like conventional rockets for interstellar space travel that ran off methane.
Methane would be really cool. I would really like to see electromagnetic technology utilized in a more efficient way, because you can build some pretty cool, like, you can make a lot of thrust off of magnets. It is really energy efficient. All you'd have to do is have solar panels on it, and it would fuel itself.
Yeah, but here's my question: is how badly is that going to be affected by making an electromagnetic field to, say, deflect cosmic radiation and dust and stuff like that?
I mean, it could do that too, but you'd have to static, just like with an airplane. The entire,
I mean, I would think that
has a static charge to it that's neutral, so it deflects and doesn't let shit stick to it as much. It's also to insulate it from electromagnetic interference, like lightning. But the whole ship would be charged as it goes through space. It would be a little bit stronger having that magnet on the back, though. And you can insulate the inside with, like, thin layer of lead, maybe. You have a wire that goes through that allows for essentially a breach, but it's fine. The rest of the magnetic field will cover that. Only in, like, extremely strong electromagnetic events would that go through. So general travel would be fine. Dust wouldn't get in there nearly as badly, and the people would be protected. Eventually, though, we would develop a magnetic field that's strong enough to keep just all radiation away, so we don't have to use lead because it's heavy. It's a very soft metal.
Well, I do know that the asteroid belt has asteroids in it that have the GDP higher than Earth in mineral wealth, just in, like, individual asteroids. But they also have a lot of titanium, and that could probably come in very useful as far as interstellar travel goes. I think that's going to be a major thing that we're going to need to start looking for. But you're talking about spaceships and spaceships being large and clunky, and I think that's a good idea to some degree.
Increase.
I think you might need to bump out and in because you're roboting.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Placeholder, I hate your internet.
I hate it too. Sorry, guys. Yes. If there is a lot of titanium out there, we can make so many alloys with it. We can make, like, carbon titanium alloy, because it would create, like, really light, really strong, flexible material. And we could have that as the hull of the ship. We can use it for wiring, or because we can make it super conductive, just through electricity alone. That'd be pretty cool. Or do fiber optic. It's probably what we'd wind up doing, but
yeah, because you don't want to be interfered with electromagnetic generators and electromagnetic drives, and but we're gonna certainly have to start with the moon base, because I honestly don't feel like the Earth is the best place to launch an interstellar or intersolar spaceship. I think the moon is the ideal, like, moon-based location. Well,
there's also the highly implausible notion of space elevators.
Yeah.
I would like a space elevator, but I don't think it's realistic.
See,
I think it's
you know what? No, hold on. I'm going to stop here and say I love the space elevator. I love it because what we do here on the BrainTrust is the kind of shit that ends up with somebody talking about space elevators. And, space elevators are a great example of what happens when you just brainstorm, when you just say, okay, any idea that anybody has. But yeah, it's really fucking dumb.
It would be great if it were feasible. Because it would take almost nothing once it was actually erected to launch. So much less energy would be expended. But that's...
Yeah, you just need a rocket thruster at the top.
Yeah, exactly.
And
once you have the motion,
we'll call it a bird strike.
There is a solid material that's lighter than air, and I forget what it's called, but it's something like 30 times lighter than air, and it works like a really solid foam. Maybe we could just make a big long rope out of that.
Believe it or not,
Tie it down to the
it's
ground.
live. What? All I could think of is the Seinfeld song. Anyway,
Sorry. Sorry, we were talking about stupid ways to get to space.
No, I know. All I could think of is "Believe it or not, it's lighter than air." That's
Believe it or not. I'm walking on air.
I know. I know.
Oh, I get
Anyway,
it. Being ironical.
sure. Yeah, like there has to be, like, in order to get there and get to the farther away parts, even in our own solar system, we need something faster than what we're currently using.
Well, I think conventional rockets would work for shorter trips, and I think that powering them with methane, and I don't know, maybe getting that methane from the Siberian ice caps where it's kind of just exploding.
Isn't it already like a
Yeah.
year and a half, 2 years just to get to Mars, though, with conventional rockets currently?
I'm
why
actually.
That's why I support magnetic engines.
Yeah, I mean, we have to start somewhere, though, and I think that once we start bringing in hordes of gold and silver and titanium and tin and basically all the crap that you find in asteroids, and dumping it off and going, here, make your superconductors in your spaceships, and because I don't know if you guys know this or not, but gold is going to be necessary for space travel.
Oh yeah, dude!
It just absolutely.
Heat shields are made with it.
Yeah, exactly. You absolutely need gold for space travel. So, the gold and the silver, the bankers going to love, but we need that on the moon too for manufacturing. And by the way, it will not be a big environmental problem to go ahead and just start cranking out, I don't know, methane and electric generators on Mars to sustain small colonies. Because you kind of need the greenhouse gases, and once you get the electromagnetosphere up, the artificial one, then you can pretty much pollute all that you want. In fact, it'll probably be encouraged.
So,
it's dump carbon into
greenhouse gases in order to make the soil hospitable and melt the caps. No, you're right. Another way we could do it quickly: nukes. Just nuke the cap.
Yeah, but then you've got radiation and all this other stuff. So you don't need to melt the cap, though. That's the thing, is you can, like I said, once you get a magnetosphere going, you throw out a few open air methane generators, electric generators, methane powered electric generators. Ship a shit ton of methane from Earth to just stick bags on cows' asses. Apparently, that's a big problem.
I mean, what we could do instead?
What?
So, because it's going to be like several generations of work to make that atmosphere possible, continue to expand, build bases all over the planet, and then start shooting for Io because of the gases of methane that are present on that moon, and then we can start harvesting from it while still sending everything. So we can speed up the process by utilizing other resources in the solar system.
Yeah, that's brilliant. It's just giant methane ball, isn't it?
Yeah, and we could even maybe discover amino acids in a place we didn't expect but hoped was there.
Yeah. What's the other one? Europa.
Europa has liquid
now
water,
we're talking about
giant ocean salt water. And they found that there's a geyser on one part that just constantly shoots out water.
I haven't seen that. You're gonna have to shoot me a link because I love looking at Europa and every new bit of information that comes out about it.
I love looking at Uranus. Never mind.
Have you heard of? And speaking of Europa, have you heard of? I think it's called Lake Vladivostok or something like that, and it's in Antarctica. And it's a lake that they discovered, I think, 300 meters below the top of the ice cap. And they guess that it's been a warm body of water underneath all this ice for probably a couple million years. And that there is more than likely some developed life in there. So they're thinking if they can figure out a way to get into there, get a sample, analyze the sample and get the data back. They don't even need to retrieve the probe. then perhaps they can find the same way to explore Europa and see if there's life on Europa.
Have you seen any concepts for their submarine drone?
Yeah, I have the one that's just really hot. It's just, like the front just warms up.
That one, my favorite. No, I'm talking like it. Well, it's going to be a 2-stage drone. It's going to be the drilling, and then it's going to be the actual drone that goes and explores the oceans.
Oh yeah,
because
yeah,
the drone will have to transform somehow. But,
as soon as it hits liquid, it pops open and like the
yep,
little,
and then delivers the second drone.
Yeah,
that one I've seen is a squid, and it looks so cool.
Yeah, but that's just concepts, man. Like, I love it because you know, I would love to be one of the. I'd love to have gotten a job where I just design shit like that all day, but you know, pipelines are pretty boring. But no, I think I saw the same one, the same documentary you're talking about, and that is a really amazing thing. It's just, I don't know. I don't think it's going to look like that. More than likely, knowing scientists and engineers, it'll be a ball with some paddles on the side.
Maybe it depends on if the Russians design it.
We have a question in the chat from Shaitan's Advocate. What our thoughts would be on using nanotech to try and colonize and terraform?
I'm absolutely for nanotech everywhere.
There was this concept I heard about that it was. I saw it on Burger Craig's video, channel, very interesting channel, guys. Go check it out. It's really neat. Where he talked about abiogenesis and ways that might occur. And one of the things that they suggested was they get these tiny little concrete balls, and depending on our level of technology, either we use nanites to send them out and build environments for us, self-replicating nanites that just activate once it, impacts a solid surface that's capable of supporting it, but also a set of like bacteria to see if they can survive. And if they do, awesome, it's a little bit faster. And you just shoot these out into space, and that's how life emerged in this part of the galaxy. And that's how we can spread throughout the galaxy as well, because it'll be Earth DNA. So technically, it's kind of the same. And we can have these ready-made planets.
So it's kind of like raping the galaxy.
Kind of, yeah. I mean, if you want to put it that way. But
I mean, if you really think about it. I'm just saying, we didn't ask for consent.
I mean, if you want to, yeah, like the feminists would have a very interesting argument with that, but
so yeah, to clarify, nanotech, I don't think it should be used to like control humans or anything like that. I think that it should be used responsibly to develop technology. So let me just specify that, and definitely for terraforming, anything that helps terraform. What do you guys think about Venus? Like personally, I'll save my comments for later, but what do you guys think about Venus?
Well, we can't really use it for anything unless we harvest its atmosphere, which cool. Yeah, we should, but
yeah, there's not really a way to inhabit that one without severe work done mainly by machines.
Yeah.
It rains acid on Venus. The atmosphere is 400 degrees centigrade.
The entire planet is a giant fireball made of toxins.
We can harvest like sulfur, and that would be kind of useful, but we can use sulfur in a lot of things. We can harvest like maybe some methane, depending on, no, it would have been destroyed. Maybe mercury. We could get that from Venus. We could get iron from Venus. We can't get carbon. We might get silicon. But yeah, I mean, we could just strip it for minerals and then put something to change gravity. But
Type 1 civilization. We have a question from the audience. I believe a Type 1 civilization is one that has been able to utilize all the energy of its star.
Yes.
Planet.
Yeah, that's.
So Type 1 is planet. Type 2 is solar system. Type 3 is galaxy. And then Type 4 might be like black holes or some.
Well, I think type 1 is harvesting the star's energy, but we're still limited to our planet.
So a
we're
timeline,
like
timeline
about
for
a
that.
0.7.
I think we're type 1 is full planet. I think if we could put our bullshit aside, I would give us with real dedication from every human on planet. I'm guessing 70 to 80 years.
Yeah.
I would place it more on a timeline of 500 years.
Yeah, that's with current human behaviors. Pulling our bullshit aside, technological advancement and ability to get it done, plus just time needed to get it done, I'd say getting to type 2 would put us at rate of technology advancement, though. That one's going to be a major exponential factor in speeding things up. I'd say 2,000 years. If we can go from nailing people on crosses for saying that they should be nice to each other to having iPhones in 2,000 years, I think we can go from iPhones to maybe starting to build a Dyson sphere in 2,000 years.
Might get there eventually.
Yeah, I'm just trying to be relative here.
What is that a pic?
But
I have an idea.
Yeah, what's that?
So what we could do in order to press this in the culture, we could do it completely naturally. Anybody who wants to, what we do is we call it the Space Corps. And the Space Corps has the motto, serviceable citizen. Do you want to hear more?
I knew this was coming up. No, actually, have you guys seen Neil deGrasse Tyson supports the Space Corps?
Yes.
Hell yeah, dude.
Yeah.
How do you guys feel about the difference between Dyson rings and Dyson spheres? I'm pretty down with the rings, except I don't know. I think they make your star blink, and that might be like, hey, look, we're over here.
I thought those were two different makes of vacuum for a second there.
Well, I mean, they actually are. Sure. I think it's called the Dyson ball.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah.
That's funny.
Okay, so with the sorry, go ahead, Cassie.
No, go ahead.
Dyson
No,
does space stuff now, though.
Yes.
So the rings, it depends on the sun's energy we really need. We might not need to build a sphere. We can probably harvest more than enough than we will ever need with rings.
Yeah,
and then we
but if we're going for type 2 civilization, I mean, we want that trophy.
Okay, so like I understand that, but if you're talking about a species trying to, extend out into the cosmos, you'll need to be as efficient as possible. So if we can reach an optimal state of energy consumption, we can get out of the solar system. We just have to time it. As with a sphere, we'll have to just build these giant gaps into it, in which case our star will still blink. So if we do the
but it'll blink in that
rings,
like it'll blink in that like I'm an exploding star kind of way.
Oh no, an exploding star will destroy the Dyson sphere.
Oh, of course. My issue with the Dyson sphere is, we have to make it expandable because we have to let it outlast the star, obviously, or grow with the star. Like a baby seat for your kid.
Well, okay, it would be big enough. Do you know how big the Oort cloud is?
Yes.
Okay.
I'm trying to pinpoint that term in my head. Yes.
It's all the random rocky bodies that exist outside of the solar system but are still within the gravitational influence of the sun. That's how big it would have to be. And we don't have the resources to do that.
No, we don't.
We can harvest out the Oort cloud. That would be perfect. We would never need for anything again because amino acids, water, gold, iron, titanium, platinum, silica, everything we need to be a spacefaring society, all out there for the taking.
Clearing the Kuiper Belt, yeah, we should definitely. That was step one, is start mining the asteroids, start capturing them, dump the slag on the Martian moon, get a little bigger, pull Mars into stable orbit. So you guys thought I was joking about all that? Like I've discussed this with a lot of people. I've never thought that Venus was a doable idea. I'm pretty sure that once you get out of the spaceship, you melt as you burn, and that's probably not comfortable. I don't think it's a sustainable situation, I think, is what I'm going for.
Your lungs would also be burning literally on.
Shane's advocate in the chat actually brought up a very interesting topic. So they said nanites that would be specialized. Since we were talking about nanotech earlier, we can use specialized nanites to clean up the environment and harvest things for us on Venus. And then we can take that and use it to geoform the Earth, because it would be able to withstand that level of technology or temperature and pressure, and we can preserve the shape of the Earth if we wanted to.
Do you?
Yeah. Shaitan's advocate. We definitely would need unmanned stuff for Venus. There's no way humans would ever be able to.
If we could somehow get all the volcanoes to stop erupting at once, and maybe get all the sulfur and hydrochloric acid out of the atmosphere, I think we'd be all right. Also, is it sulfuric acid? I think it's sulfuric acid.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I think isn't there a lot of hydrogen on Venus as well? We could definitely harvest in the upper atmosphere.
I think it's too close to the sun for it to exist stably for any extended period of time. There might be reserves of it on the planet, but they wouldn't last very long given the temperature of the planet itself. It would be a gas, if anything. There'd be no liquid methane.
Oh, I'm not looking for methane. I was looking for hydrogen, but...
Well, right. Hydrogen has is more unstable than methane, and methane can't exist either.
Helium. We could definitely harvest helium and probably a few other noble gases, but not much of it, I don't think. I think we'd mostly be there for sulfur.
Yeah.
And we could use that on Mars for sure.
Well, with the volcanic activity, there'd be a lot of glass, which means there's a lot of silicon on the planet. We can hire that, or we can hire a planet. No, we can harvest that and use Venetian silicon to make all of our computer chips forever, ad infinitum. No more need for circuitry.
Here's an interesting question. How fun would golf on the moon be?
Come on, man. The opportunity to hit a golf ball into Earth's upper atmosphere? Hell yeah.
Billy, my ball didn't come down, dude. I don't think it's coming.
Might hit you in the back of the head.
I don't think it's coming back down. You just see a little flash going towards the blue. Like, son of a bitch. Does that mean I have to take a drop?
Out of bounds, you get a strike.
So we kind of touched on this earlier with Chair discussing mining, the way we would view mining colonies. How would this affect? How would colonizing our solar system? How would it affect, one, psychology, and two, culture?
I think it would. I would think it would affect genetics.
Well, more. Okay, I understand why I was asking that. So there would have to be a solar government where the people who live in the colonies have the right to self-determination, and it would be like space capitalism. Because they would still have to be capitalist.
I think it would probably be a confederation, if anything. It would literally be volunteer basis only. But it would be mostly. Yeah, it would be some sort of like arbitration and mitigation service. It wouldn't really necessarily be a government. It'd just be, hey, like this is the rules we all agreed to as, I guess, not nations, but planets. And so, or colonies or whatever. And so, they just hammer out, who was right and who was wrong in disputes.
Interesting.
But no, I don't think that. See, I don't think there'd be mining colonies. I think there would be maybe mining outposts, but they wouldn't be manned for most of the time. They would be manned when it was relevant to man them because the planets were in that particular part of the orbit of the solar system,
So I have a question.
What's that?
Why wouldn't we just automate it? Like, why wouldn't we just automate it, have it run 24/7, unmanned?
Well, I mean, that's an old argument: is manned aerial combat versus unmanned. When it comes to actual like dealing with reactions, dealing with things that are coming at you that you don't see, and we really don't exactly have Star Trek sensor technology. I mean, even here on Earth, with all of our satellites, we would probably have less than, say, a couple hours warning if we were about to get hit by something really big, because we wouldn't see it coming because we honestly just don't watch that much of the sky.
Right, but we can like automate it, have satellites constantly monitoring it using I don't know, like calculating gravity in those areas, and they can use that to detect anything that's flying, or technically anything that's just moving. But
I think you raised an interesting point that we definitely need to upgrade our, I guess the only term for it is sensor technology, so that we can detect shit coming at spaceships and avoid it. Because I mean, you can't just fly into the Kuiper Belt and grab something and run out, and, like, oh yeah, that was no big deal. Yeah, you kind of.
I feel like the majority of like colonies would essentially be run by large corporations, essentially.
Yeah,
Most likely.
Yeah,
almost the Weyland-Yutani group, as previously mentioned, or kind of like West Virginia with all the mines being run by companies.
Dude, don't do this. We've already brought up SJWs. You don't want me to say xenomorphophobe.
Oh my god.
I was holding that one back. That is such a dad joke. I didn't want to use it, dude. Come on.
Xenomorphophobe.
Anyway. No, I think you're right, and I think that if let's say we captured a comet, we shaved it down, and Mars ended up with, say, 2 distinct continents and a couple of really large islands. I'm fairly confident at least one of the islands would be called Google.
Most likely.
If not one of the larger continents. I just think that that's what's going to happen. I think the people that pay for it are going to name it. And they're going to name it what helps them sell more shit. And what would help you sell more shit than calling the continent that everybody is now living on in this new planet the name of your company? Yeah, I live on McDonald's. I'm a McDonald'sian. That's the best part. You get national pride in a fast food restaurant.
Oh my god!
I'm a minor on the
nukes.
Recreation.
I mean, what kind of political system would that be? A corporatocracy, or like a marketocracy?
I think it would be like Ancapistan. That would be Ancapistan.
No.
Oh my god.
I don't think Ancapistan really enjoys marketing so much as you think.
I think it would.
Base Halliburton.
I think the most comparable governments we could refer to with this would probably be Renaissance Italy's oligarchies. and princedoms.
Yeah.
It would almost be a reversion back to feudalism.
I think it'd be
yeah,
similar,
that's the
but
thing.
I think you'd also have enclaves of really weird people
Yes.
that they were producing some really relevant task, and all of humanity just turned a blind eye to whatever their weird shit was because
Hey,
they were like growing potatoes on Mars,
hey,
and that
Egg,
was
you want to form a
necessary.
cult on Mars?
What was that?
Egg, do you want to form a cult on Mars?
Yeah. Yes.
Oh no.
Oh my God.
Worship the face of Mars.
Every third Sunday, they sacrifice a Mormon.
Oh no.
I actually have to wonder how living on different planets would actually affect religious thought too.
Oh, wow.
Because
Or if it even would.
yeah, if it even would.
It,
Like
It depends on what we found.
that's a very gray area.
Yeah, what if we find some dead Mars scrolls or something, you know?
well, we would not even be able to remotely interpret them.
Here's
Would be part of the issue.
I don't know. I mean, we've got cryptographers and stuff. But here's an interesting question, and this goes back to space travel, and I'm hoping Placeholder will jump in on this. So in space, when you want to create gravity so that people's bones and muscles don't deteriorate, you basically spin your ship around an axis and you make the walkways on the outer or inner circumference of the circle of your ship, or if it is a circle.
Right.
So here's my question: if we started designing our ships not only to keep people's bone structures where they need to be, but maybe increase them by, I don't know, cranking up the gravity to 1.2 and having them live daily lives where they were getting, say, slightly less oxygen or slightly more, whatever it was that would make them bigger and bulkier, stronger, healthier, whatever.
It would be more oxygen.
Yeah. And just have them out there in space traveling back and forth, moving these giant rocks. And then every 4 years they show back up on Earth and play in the Olympics.
Huh.
I'm just saying, it's like, you think wearing weights on your ankles for, a jog is a good thing? Imagine dealing with 1.2 gravity and
well, there is the problem, though, of exhaustion.
yeah, but I don't know. I think there's also the benefit of adaptation.
Well, sure, yeah, that would certainly be something that is physically feasible, especially with that small of a difference. But you're distorting joints at that point. Like, you can't do that without altering existing.
Well, I mean, you don't have to crank it up to 1.2. You could, maybe 1.1 or something.
Oh, well, no, like 1.2 is safe. Like, you just couldn't exist in it for forever without specialized physical training.
You know what? Here's an idea. You could have, because in space you don't have night and day, so you'd have to have some sort of schedule to help people stay sane.
Mhm.
So when you're on your day cycle, you're at 1.2, but when you go to the night cycle, it drops back down to, say, like 0.9.
Mm-hmm. Well,
That allows
allow
people's bodies to really relax.
Yeah.
And we could also, okay, have you guys seen the what's it called? Cloverfield Paradox?
Yes.
Okay.
Unfortunately.
I liked that movie. You don't talk shit. Roy lost his arm, man.
Yes, and it started rating automatically without anybody attached to it.
But the way they had their environment controlled would be how we would do that, I think.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I thought we were talking about armless guys. I was going to go into, like, the Evil Dead.
Oh god.
Kind of, yeah.
Oh God, space zombies.
Yep.
Space demons.
Why doesn't that scare me at all?
I'll have to get the Doom Slayer.
Because if they can't run at you on ground and they're floating, what fucking, like, there's no danger. There's no danger. Just just like pawing the air. So, and as he slowly turns, you get the perfect headshot every goddamn time.
Yeah.
Yeah, we're off track here.
Yeah.
All right, so weapons in space, and we have to talk about this because if there is infighting,
yeah, nothing we have like the guns would be a bad idea in a pressurized tube.
yeah,
but they would still work.
I mean, yeah, a railgun, an electromagnet. I mean, we're doing electromagnets anyway, so.
I think we would actually start returning to swords.
Well, why not just use physics-based projectiles that don't require any kind of an explosive force, like crossbows and harpoon guns and bows.
A harpoon gun in space.
Dart gun.
It just moves in slow motion.
Right, but you see, you're also like firing that thing in a low gravity environment, so you'll be far more accurate.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you could launch tungsten rods with magnets attached to the end through railguns, but I also think that the best weapons in space are probably going to be heat-based lasers. Not maybe if you keep them really too close inside your ship, because they themselves will get hot. And in space, you really have no way of dispersing heat because there's no molecules to touch, to convey or convect.
I'm telling you, the way humankind is, bringing weapons to space, I know you need them for defense in case there's some weird alien creatures out there and shit. But at the same time,
Okay.
like, I know how humans are. Like, we're just gonna...
We're gonna fight.
Humans,
Yeah.
humans are gonna fight. That's just a given. That's
What sort of weapons would we attach to ships?
I think that we would go with
Railguns.
lasers. I'm still a fan of the railgun because all you get is one shot at the hull. You know?
Yeah.
Railguns and lasers.
The entire ship just
Mhm.
implodes.
You see, I would build this spaceship that's also a round sphere that can shoot out laser beams, and it would destroy entire planets.
I think that we
That's not been
should
done before.
build giant cubes.
The Borg?
Yes.
No, just
Well,
very much like them.
Well, we don't really have to deal with aerodynamics in space, so
Oh. No, it would just be like, in all reality, the spaceship would just be a sphere in the middle that spins so everybody could walk around. And then the outer mesh would just be for asteroid absorption. Like, by the time you get to Mars, it would look nothing like a cube. It'd be a tremendous waste of materials, but, you know, we're brainstorming here, which is what we do every single Wednesday night. Through Google Hangouts here on the Academy Debate channel at 11 p.m. New York time. We keep an open door for anybody with a microphone and a helpful disposition. So if you guys want to join in on any of our BrainTrust sessions, feel free to DM one of us on Twitter, and we'll talk about you behind your back for a little while and decide whether or not we want you on. Anyway. We're coming up on our hour, so I just wanted to go ahead and remind you guys that Friday night is going to be the Academy Debate. Why don't you tell us a little bit about that, Cher, because you actually know what we're debating.
We're debating if porn is ethical or not.
Oh my god, I love this.
what? Oh, okay.
As the moderator, I have to ask, is it
My goal is
it a sign of bias for me to masturbate during this debate?
I want to try and convince Aiden Paladin to come on, even though she never responded to me the first time. I would like to get her on because she did a whole entire video with a lot of research on the topic.
I thought you were going to say a whole entire video of getting plowed.
No. No.
Oh gosh.
Oh wow! No, it would be very interesting. Have you guys ever met a porn actress? They're hilarious. They're,
I've never met an actress.
Say what you say what you will about the porn industry, but those women work their asses off, quite literally.
Well, I will try and try and get in touch with Mercedes again, see if someone's willing to come on who's in the industry.
Like, yeah, I made 6 films in 3 days.
Like, Mercedes did follow me back on Twitter, so I can try and get a hold of her again.
That'd be interesting.
She follows Tim too, so we can probably get somebody that's in the industry that has knowledge of it. So that's what we're gonna try for anyway.
Yeah, we need an attention whore from the porn industry.
So may
How
I,
can
as the scorer, also add a caveat?
Okay. What's that?
Oh dear.
Please bring an argument other than it feels good and it is my body.
Here's an.
Don't get me wrong. I love that argument. I totally respect it, but I've heard it a million times.
Well, that's always going to be. That would always be.
Yeah.
That would probably be part of anybody's argument. But I would like to find somebody that has more to say than just that.
I almost wish we could broadcast this whole thing on somewhere where we could use screen sharing to really discuss this matter.
Mhm.
Like with the Twitch channel?
No.
No.
Twitch may be. Twitch may not crack down on thoughts, but it will crack down on actual porn.
Well, I mean, we're not.
It's not porn. It's a debate. Okay, we are having a socio-political debate.
It will be another.
We need
will be
examples for representation.
Okay, it will be another 18+ show just in case.
It will be education.
It'll be age restricted.
Yeah.
But like now, this is called Hardcore Nellies.
Oh god.
And this is unethical.
And demonetized.
Mhm.
Like, no, that's totally ethical. Okay, well, this is my porn B. This one is called 2 Girls, 1 Cup.
No.
Oh, wow.
No.
It took you guys a long time for that one.
No, because I
Oh, no.
no.
I heard it. It's like, oh god, the nightmare.
Oh God, backdoor.
You guys are
road.
all too young to remember that, huh?
No.
No,
No.
I remember it, dude. I'm 26 years old. I remember
Yeah,
it.
I opened that
Yeah, I
email
did
too. I still have nightmares.
But anyway, we have all of that stuff out there, and I would really like for people to contact the Academy Debates channel directly, as well as any of the people who are in the description of this video. They will get word to us, and we will arrange it. So if you know someone, let them know.
Yeah, and be sure to follow everybody down below. You can check out our channels, our Twitters, and make sure to tell us to kill ourselves because, you know, those are always helpful comments. So,
Yes. I have to
Remember-
be reminded of myself.
yeah, no idea is a bad idea except, no ideas, which are bad ideas.
Yep.
Anyway, you guys have a wonderful night. We'll see you this Friday at 9 p.m. New York time and next week at Wednesday. And follow us on Twitter at the Academy Debate Show or follow us individually to find out what we will be talking about on next week's BrainTrust. Until then, we'll see you later.